but Mighty Mouse will save the day. Saturday morning cartoon, Batman and Robin never lose. With little Tom Thumb, the inch high private eye, and I always watch the coyote die. Isn't it a weller when Popeye the Sailor punches Brutus right on the nose? Ow, Olive Oyl is screaming, but she's only dreaming, loving two men at one time. Isn't it ironic everyone has biotic? Lips thought to fly in the sky, and the one-eyed monster is really a prankster, playing with the mind of the young. Saturday morning cartoon, road runner on the loose, with Speedy Gonzales and Scooby-Dooby-Doo, and the smelly skunk Pepe Le Pew. It's like a fantasy. Can we face reality? Must we make life a mockery and turn the truth upside down? Saturday morning cartoon, road runner on the loose, Speedy Gonzales, Scooby-Dooby-Doo, and the smelly skunk Pepe Le Pew. Saturday morning
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Thursday Open Panel. Hope you enjoyed the countdown clock. That is featuring Saturday morning cartoons by a band called Damascus, available on YouTube Music if you're interested. Got chat. Hey, Gorilla. I'll be up in a bit. Okay. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving last week. We had to skip our panel, but for good reason. Oh, wow. 8 people. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. This is a good time to mention, if you haven't been to the community tab yet, go over there and vote for our first Christmas episode of the year. You have your favorite version of the Christmas Carol. And hey, Basco, welcome to the show. Good to see you. And surprisingly, right now, the other category is winning. I believe that's still at 60% of the vote. Yes, other is still winning with 60% of the vote. And of the suggested Christmas carols, the Muppets Christmas Carol is the one with the most likes. Hey, Admiral Teague, welcome to the show. It'd probably be a good time to check if I actually pinned that comment. Yeah, if you want to join the stream, the panel link is pinned at the top. Oh, your computer froze up again on your Gorilla. That's happening a troubling amount of times. Hopefully you can get that fixed. And before I forget, Teague, congratulations on hitting monetization. I saw the beginning of your stream yesterday. Unfortunately, I couldn't stick around because I worked this morning. But again, congratulations on getting that approved fairly quickly. But I guess I can go on about Christmas time. We get a bunch of great cartoon specials. Only 54 weeks. That's amazing. That. Oh, here we go. Hey, Bird, how you doing?
Hello world, it's Turtle 35. Hey Resolute.
Hey, Bird. Thanks for being here.
No worries. I'm happy to be awake.
Yeah.
Figured I'd drop in. Say hello.
Yeah, good to have you.
Mhm.
Boycott Disney. Yeah, but I'd love to boycott it, but the Disney product is winning the poll right now, Gorilla. If they win, I'll have no choice. It's amazing. I intentionally left off all Disney product, but Disney somehow manages to be winning the poll.
They're big.
Hello.
How you doing, Teague?
I'm doing really well. Hi.
Hello, Admiral.
Hey, I think you guys kind of covered it. It's been a good week for me.
Yeah,
Thanks.
glad to see those
Congratulations.
subs actually stuck around.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I had two browsers open. Say it again. I'm sorry.
Glad to see those subs stuck around for you.
Yeah, we had a
Y'all
bot.
sorta jumped
We had a
on.
bot swarm. We had a bot swarm last time, and then I don't know what happened. We're on at a good time. People naturally are on YouTube. I stayed on and went on at the same time for like almost 8 months. I always kind of made sure that when bigger people came on, I told my subscribers and channel members to raid the channel and tell them, Admiral says hello. My name got around. I didn't anger or annoy anybody. I got lucky a couple of times. Doomcock was very kind to me. Pop Culture Minefield guys were very kind to me. I had a few opportunities in the last few weeks. I've been working really hard at it, and then a second wave happened, and I guess everyone should be aware of these rogue waves that happen. If your engagement starts like swelling up and you find yourself in an insane place, you have to roll with it and act like it happens all the time. Casually ask people to follow you after a minute or two, because if they don't stick around, it's not real anyway. And we had a whole plan in place that PDB and I made for when it happened again, because the second wave seemed more organic, and then we kept it was a crazy 300 up, but we kept 80 or 100 of those people, and it earned 90 more. So we put on 170 in a month, and then there was another wave, and we were ready for it when it happened, and we had a checklist because we had been through it a couple of times. Let the wave settle in, acted like it wasn't happening, ignored it for a little while, and then casually asked people to and follow again. And then I guess a lot of people heard it. I was pretty passionate at the end of one of the shows, and there was a pretty high, steady count of subs. So I think that people maybe started joining, and I got a good recommend somewhere from something. Because seems like a bunch of people, like a dozen people might have jumped on in the first minute, because I was just really, it was a legit earned rant. So it wasn't performative or anything. Hey, look who unfroze their computer. What's up, buddy?
Oh,
Hey, girl.
nothing. Apparently, Minecraft froze up my computer.
You're a hero to my subs for bringing them Rob Yin Hood without anyone having to pay for it. Boy, did we have a laugh with that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, not a problem.
I still can't fathom how you can stand watching that.
Because it was so bad. At the extremes, things are pretty much the same, right? So these ACAB maniacs accidentally made a case that everything that was done in the show by the police was fairly justified within reason. But then when called out for the fact that all the bad people were white, the director was like, I see, I'm smarter than you. That guy who shoots the lady for no reason, he's Latino, see? So I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, okay. This guy's not a racist at all. And honestly, it was 40 hilarious minutes watching everything fail. It was like Batwoman. People enjoy, some of those got really good view counts. Thank you very much.
God, I should make you sit through Galleons.
Oh,
I owe
no.
you. I owe you so much for what you did for my channel at such a critical time. I'll do anything. I'll do anything within reason. Anything.
And hey, Ray, welcome to the show.
I was going to say anything, but then I remembered who I was talking to. I was like, "Oh, let me put some clarification on that." Oh, it's so great to be hanging out with friends. Ray Lucard, hello. And Stream
Hey.
Elements, you're at every stream I'm at, man. What's going on, buddy? You've got to sub to. How come you won't sub to my channel? Do you know Stream? What does he do?
Ray?
Oh,
I'm
he
not
knows
sure.
LDG. I'm just fucking around. I like to talk to bots sometimes. For like the first week until the sub count settled in, I thought it's been like 6 days. The first 5 days, I was like, "Hey, what's up, replicants and people? What's going on?" But something shocking and real happened. What can I tell you? I still can't understand it.
Yeah. Well, it is that time of year for miracles.
I get it. Oh my God, I'm George Bailey. But I wasn't depressed. I was already in a good mood. If I was depressed when I've gotten like 10,000 subs, now I have to start drinking and getting bummed out.
I know Bailey did that first, I believe.
Yeah, he's mistaken as the hero of that movie. The real hero of that movie is Mr. Potter.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've actually watched that movie.
George Bailey gives mortgages that are illegal now. He'll give them to anyone, whether they can pay or not. And like the people in Potterville, they think their houses suck, but they can afford them, right? No one's like on the street in Potterville.
God, was he work for Chase?
What's that?
Was he work for Chase?
George Bailey worked.
Which one was the one that failed in 2008? Or 2000?
Was that
WAMU.
WAMU? Okay,
Which is
yeah,
now
they're all gone for
owned
so long.
by Chase.
No, there's one of them that failed in New York. There's a couple of them that failed in New York because they're giving out bad mortgages.
Everybody's got headquarters here, but yeah, the failure probably did happen in New York. But I would say this:
Fannie Mac. That's what it was. Fannie Mac.
Freddie
I
Mac.
believe it. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, or whatever the fuck those were, Clinton era things. Yeah, they failed like 12 years after he wasn't around. Maybe they should have like whacked those ideas, right? It's like guy who thought about like he's not controlling it anymore, just kind of on autopilot. Oh, it'll be fine.
Well, yeah, they made an absurd incentive to give everyone a mortgage, no matter if they worked at Lehman Brothers or if they worked at Burger King.
If you worked at Burger King, you had just as much a chance. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with working at Burger King, but you should be the Burger King manager before you try to buy a house, and then you have to be like kind of like realistic in your outlook. But George Bailey was giving cab drivers like a 3-bedroom cape in like the nice part of town.
Well, Admiral T, you're thinking New York prices. I could easily get a house around here for $60,000. Heck, I bought mine for $15,000.
That's gone up 300% since 1998 when I was there, but it's still really, really reasonable. But George Bailey was in New York. Bedford Falls is New York or New Jersey. I'm not sure. Maybe Bird knows. Has a theory. Whereas Bedford Falls is in New Jersey and Potterville is in New York. Is that the deal?
I don't know who's where. Neither of those sound familiar.
Have you seen? No. Have you seen It's a Wonderful Life?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not that I can recall.
It's a movie about Jimmy Stewart, and it's a movie about whether or not he'd never been born. And he goes to delete himself, and his guardian angel shows him his life if he had never been born. And the world, like the town he lives in, is like really nice and very Norman Rockwell. When it goes to self-delete, but when he goes back, the town is really like scammy and horrible.
And welcome, Lemon Pie and Cody
Hey,
Guy.
Lemon Pie.
Yeah, see, we got quite a few houses here in my town here. One's actually for $39,000, and they got a couple for $89,000. You could easily buy that on a burger. If you know how to manage your money, you can buy those on a Burger King wages, or if you have or as a couple.
or if you're a bartender, yeah,
That's
you can
amazing.
do that. In some parts of America, you can, and in New York, you're not any better of a bartender or anything like that. But and restaurant wage is restaurant wage, but in New York, people tip. I think tipping is illegal in some parts of the country.
I
I'm
doubt
not sure
that.
about illegal.
Oh
but,
no, I'm sorry.
Frowned upon.
It's buybacks are illegal. Buybacks are illegal. Or when I was there, so it's 20th century. Buybacks were illegal in is it Wisconsin or is it Minnesota?
Buyback?
One or the other. Right, it's
What's a
buybacks. So if
buyback?
a buyback is on your third round, you get the fourth one. Second, after 2 drinks, you get the third one free. It's how they keep the price of drinks down in New York. If they give you a drink for free, there's no tax, so they can. It's cheaper than. It's how the bartenders earn their tip. They give you a buyback. So knowing that you'll get every third or fourth drink for free, you throw down $1 per drink because a beer is $7.
I have never heard of a buyback.
Me either.
Yeah, that's something they don't do here.
Anybody's heard
Saying
of a
they do
buyback?
that
Hey,
in New York City?
our pal LDG is here. They do that in every bar
Hey,
up and down
LDG.
Roosevelt Avenue. They do it in every bar on Long Island. I think I probably drink and socialized more in my wild youth when I was in my punk rock band. But no, I used to go out a lot, and that's standard. And I was out the other day, and it's still standard. About every third or fourth drink is on the house.
Yeah, that's exactly. Okay, Mama Pray just confirmed. That was standard even in her time.
That Mama Pray and I are about the same age.
Yeah. Teague, we got 2 for here. Buy one, get one free on Tuesdays.
Specials probably already illegal, but the buyback I think is. But in New York, a bartender gets $3 an hour in tips, and I think in Minnesota you get the state minimum wage, right? Or the state whatever they want to pay you. You have to get at least minimum wage. There's no restaurant wage, right?
Well,
at least not for
the
them.
restaurants I worked at. Well, I started out as I got minimum wage as a dishwasher, but the waitresses got minimum wage plus tips. So did the bartender.
Right. So tips are allowed. I realize you tip your waitress. I realize you do tip your bartender everywhere. In Florida, they had buybacks. In Minnesota, they didn't. I don't know. That's the extent of my knowledge. In Europe, I was too messed up to remember if there were buybacks, so I can't speak to that. Czech Republic, maybe there were, but like you drink for almost nothing, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I've never been and hopefully never will be in Europe.
Actually, it's a really cool place to go to for vacation, my friend. Honestly, you don't have to I'm not saying live like them or move there. Oh man, I think I'm gonna go to Italy next time.
I've met Europeans. Not the greatest. I was to say them and me wouldn't get along.
You know what? You just walk in there like you fucking own the place, and you're like, "Hey, you fucking yank," and you're like, "No, I'm from New York," and they're like, "Oh, well, I want to go visit your city," and it changes the way they are towards you. People are a little more well disposed when you're from a world city. If you're from LA, I'll just be like, "Yeah, I'm from the West Coast. I'm from LA." They'd be like, "Oh, wow, it's so cool." If you say you're an American, they'll have some kind of chip on their shoulder. If you say you're from like a given city, they'll treat you better. Like if you're just like I'm from Minneapolis, St. Paul, it's where Mary Tyler Moore is from, or it's where Prince is from. People would be like, "Oh, that's so cool." But if you just say you're an American, they'll be like, "Europeans are strange." But you're like, you could go to the wildest party part of any red light district in any town, and there's no garbage, there's no trash on the ground.
That just seems unnatural.
They don't litter.
It didn't used to be true. Now I think there is these days.
It's been 8 or 9 years since I've been there. I'm going back probably next 2 though. I don't know if I want to go to Vietnam or I want to go to like Italy. If I go to Vietnam, I can stop yeah, everyone says that.
I agree, Lundell. There's no way it's like that anymore.
I haven't been there in a while. Might be true, but I don't think the Dutch will mess up. The Netherlands is the most conservative country in the world.
Yeah, but they've had certain problems over the last 5 to 10 years that is slightly beyond their control.
They've been a democracy longer than us. They'll be all right. I mean, might be a bad 10 to 20 years, though. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying they'll be fine.
Wait, you're talking about Vietnam?
Oh, wait. No, the Netherlands.
No,
Vietnam, is
the
there problems
Netherlands.
lately? Yeah, Vietnam, I've heard, is
Vietnam
extremely
is
stable, extremely
yeah,
safe, and
it's
extremely
I was-
fine.
I was,
it's pretty
I was
good
gonna,
now.
I was gonna say Vietnam has been for a lot longer than us.
They're not a democracy
we got
now.
About the 60s.
They would say,
No, they
they would
still
argue that they're a democracy,
commies?
but we all know the deal. I think they have elections, but we all know the deal.
Yeah, they're on paper free elected governments, but
Like us.
at least like Thailand, they're honest about it. They have a monarchy. They don't
Oh, I'm
bother
going to
with any of that
Thailand.
BS.
I am going to Thailand.
Hey, just don't
If I
say
go to
anything
Vietnam-
about bad
warning,
about the
it's-
king.
I fucking
Yeah,
better
support
hope
him. I don't
anything.
care. I'm going to spend a week there. He's the greatest. As far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned, he's
no,
the
no,
goddamn
make sure there's
greatest.
nothing on the internet when you go there that's saying talking bad about it, and they'll arrest you right as soon as you get off the plane.
My
Yeah.
Facebook page says stuff like, well, happy 2019, everybody, I think is my last Facebook post. I'll be okay. No one will know this is my Twitter. I'll change like Google accounts at the airport.
Mhm.
Besides, what do I say against the king? I don't know anything about Thailand. I'm sure he's an amazing king. In fact, I want to endorse him right now. Everybody on this panel thinks the king is great, or I will leave the panel. That's how I feel about the king. I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's just one of those you gotta do your research on places.
Yeah.
I think if I go to Asia, I'll go to like New Zealand and see Carla and the Shire, and maybe some
And,
other people, and I'll have my social
Hey,
blade with me.
DJ.
Hey,
Vietnam is a socialist republic led by the Communist Party. So they're democratic just like the Chinese are technically democratic. You may have one name on the ballot, but it's still an election.
That 99% of the people love him, right?
yeah, come on, how can he not be popular? Listen, man, like we already lost that war. I'm not even gonna indulge it. And plus, like, I was shocked, but my second biggest demographic is not England, but it's Vietnam at 20%. I don't know if that's like the land of VPNs that people set it to, or if that's legit, but I'm just not going to be scoffing at Vietnam anytime soon.
Yeah, it is quite popular for VPNs.
Well, it is also.
It's also quite popular for internet culture. That in Indonesia.
Really? Well, I just want to say, you know, when you think about it, there's probably a good deal of English-speaking people there.
A fair bit.
A lot more of them will just read the subtitles. Maybe they want a description of what's going on in New Trek. I don't know, but I'm glad to have them. I've been reading up on the news about over there, so I can every once in a while you'll see the tweet in Vietnamese, be like, is Teague really just on like drunk today? And no, it's like that's just saying hi to them. Even if I'm just talking to people's VPNs, it would seem wise. What's the worst thing that could happen? I'll have a bunch of happy VPNs.
Yeah, never hurt to suck up to the boss.
But I'd like to see it.
Number, I can't think the acquisition rule number now. I used to know all the rules of acquisition.
Man, some people really got into Deep Space Nine. I guess there are a lot of good episodes. I'm going to have to close that Star Trek blind spot, and then I won't have any really left. It's bittersweet.
You never watched DS9, or you just don't like it?
Here's the deal. I've watched every episode of Deep Space Nine. I've only finished like half of them. Some of them just don't work for me at all, and I apologize to people who love it. I know it's a lot of people's favorite Star Trek show, and here's where I really get controversial. I like Voyager a little bit better than Deep Space Nine.
Now
Yeah,
that
boot him
doesn't-
now, Germ. Boot him off.
Sorry, ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
tempted.
No, you know what? I will make admissions like Deep Space Nine has a better captain.
Yeah, no, but if you were gonna say something like Picard was better than DS9, then we'd definitely be booting you off.
I would be
wouldn't be
reporting
where
you
I
for mental
am.
health.
I wouldn't be where I am. My videos would have like 31 views if I had endorsed that show because people would know I was a shill and an endorser. It was a bad show. We proved it objectively. People can feel how they want, and you're entitled to your opinion. And I hope people who enjoyed it. And I have nothing against anyone who did or anyone who spoke up on behalf of the show. And I had, gosh knows, I went on a new Trek review show. And we all disagreed, but we're still friends. Like I'm still friends with the guys from NerdTube. They're cool. They're nice enough to let me come on there and talk my craziness. But I will say that it was like the first large influx of subs was after I did the new Trek review show because they had like 2,200 subs. Because what happens with all of these shows as a YouTuber is and I use that term colloquially in our YouTube hobby, right? With all these shows, they're able to get people excited for next big thing. And then the show implodes by episode 2 or 3, if not right out of the gate. So, like, a lot of people got stuck, like with Ahsoka, like how, oh, Mr. Lundell, I have seen Deep Space Nine. I've seen every episode. I just haven't finished all of them. Some of them aren't any good. Like, for instance, shipping Kira with Space Hilter for the 15th time. Didn't dig it. But when Keiko gets in trouble for teaching Federation supremacism at the Deep Space Nine school, now that's a favorite because that episode is just such a mess of convenient writing and an attempt to be important. And then some of them are really good. If I see Garrick, I watch the whole thing. If I see Bashir, I hang with it at least 1 or 2 commercial breaks. If I see Quark, I'm going to tough it out too. If I see Cisco, it depends how late in the run it is. Like once they made him God kind of too soon and stuff like that, I was like, Cisco was a reminder.
That was the last episode.
But he has this weird encounter with the gods and the emissary, and they tell him he's the emissary. And he's got like a John the Baptist status. No.
He the entire series until the very end where he actually becomes one of them.
I agree that there's a good payoff. I agree with that. I absolutely do. And I'm not saying here's the thing. People think that I say it's not my favorite. What I'm saying is we have several Star Trek shows, and like you can prefer some to the others or the others to some. But when it comes to the 2 longest lived Star Trek shows, neither of them are the greatest Star Trek show. First of all, the greatest Star Trek show is the original series.
Almost.
I've seen all the episodes. I just haven't finished them all. What difference is there? I'm sorry. I've seen like up to 40% of every episode, and some of them just got really boring. I'm really sorry. But you can listen to the Saturday Night Star Trek with Klobby, and you can hear that I would say they had more negative opinions about Deep Space Nine than they have so far about Voyager, where Voyager...
I'm questioning the sanity of some people now.
About what, Deep Space Nine versus Voyager?
Yeah, if you favor Voyager over DS9, that's.
But what if I thought one was one was like out of a scale of 1 to 10, TOS is a 10, TNG is a 9 to a 10 every episode. Are there some weird outliers in both? Yes, but then there's the other shows, and they are what they are. The best other show is very
talking
possibly
DS9 versus Voyager.
Out of the other 3 shows, the best one's still Enterprise. I'm sorry. I know it's got really bad problems. I love watching. It's the most enjoyable. Is it the most rational? Is it the best one? No. It's really rewatchable. It's really fucking enjoyable. We all see how good it is. We can laugh. They got back something with that show that they lost for a while when not so great episodes were still really amusing and fun.
Voyager's the one who lost it.
Voyager messes up the Borg.
It's not the only thing that messed up.
They castrated them.
They made a lot of mistakes in Voyager. They made a lot. Here's the thing: Deep Space Nine canonically is probably more sound, but it's just not like we. It's because it's safe and sometimes really repetitive. Now I like if TOS is a 10, right? We're talking about like Deep Space Nine versus Voyager. So one's like a 7.5 and one's an 8. Like we're fighting over 0.5% of a difference here. What I would say is
I'd
this: it's
say
easier to.
DS9's more along a 9 and Voyager's more along a 6.
But if you flip those numbers over and you're dyslexic, there's very little difference. I had to let the tension
Talk
out
to the
somehow.
gorilla, he's the dyslexic one.
Thank you. Now, you know what? I mean, this is a great conversation because, like, everyone's passionate and it's respectful, and we're disagreeing without being disagreeable, and that's what makes for a great conversation. And I realize that I don't have the most popular opinion here.
Yep, you got another one.
I would say this: Voyager isn't as heavy as the other show, but it works more often. Like, kind of. Because it's closer to being a traditional Star Trek show. They're on a ship going places.
The problem with Voyager, though, is they could have gotten home in the first episode there if Janeway would just pulled her head out of her ass.
Worst first episode story
LDG.
of all time. Hey, LDG, what's up? Good to see you again, my friend.
Pickles.
Nice. We had a good talk earlier.
Your microphone is not on.
No, but Teague here have
Son of a bit. There we go. Hey, what's going on, guys?
Go ahead.
Thanks,
they made Janeway an admiral there, a nemesis there. I've come to the conclusion
That's not Star Trek.
Well, hey, you can't finish. I've come to the conclusion that Janeway put a virus in the computer there before she left. That every time Picard was supposed to get a promotion, it automatically went to her because she was a rear admiral in Nemesis. There after she supposedly just got back.
The only thing Picard was told not to take promotion by Kirk.
Yeah.
So
in Beta Canon, he turned down several.
I'm sure he was offered.
Ruin the joke. Yeah. All right.
I'm sorry I stepped into that, gorilla. Honestly, I'll just go with both on that one. Like, I do love the Nexus theory, but I'm not going to go on like a long rant denying the other movies. Like, they're things that exist. We could think about whether they happened or not. A lot of people say Star Trek 5, like 85% of it didn't happen.
Star Trek 5 is the real ending to the TOS movies.
I enjoy it.
It was the most
Star Trek
5-ish of all the movies.
It was the most like one of the episodes.
It was out there. It wasn't planned very well, but it was fun.
Yep.
And at the end, you were happy.
Yes.
Only when you thought about it did you have a problem with it. 6 is
It was
fine,
only when people hectored it to death.
5 was perfect.
5 has some bad special effects. I want a special effects director's edition where William Shatner gets his choice of like a better shuttle landing crash. There's a few things that could be fixed, and William is still here. He should have a chance to make his director's edition. Everyone else has too. I think William Shatner knows Star Trek.
Yeah, pretty well. Unfortunately, he's a little obsessed with horses at the moment.
He's 92. I will say this, though. I look forward to testing out whether I'm wrong, and maybe I will be wrong when I start watching Deep Space Nine. I'm pretty much stalled out in the last half season of Voyager. Like other stuff came up, but I'm going to get back to that marathon. But yeah, the Voyager episodes that fail, they're usually hilarious or ironically funny. Like when Janeway falls in love with an Irish guy who's a hologram.
Oh God, I cannot stand those episodes. That was horrible.
Okay, Bird.
It was horrible, but I laughed really hard at how much she cared about the hologram's feelings.
It was cringy though.
Well, it took her a minute. She wasn't at first. She came to, and then when she came to, she's all like, "Oh."
I think it was supposed to reflect that she had an intellectual an intellectual attraction to the EMH who wasn't real.
She is just hard up after 6 or 7 years of not getting any.
She can't charge up, her thing. But you might be right. Come
on, Rex, let's go.
When Chakotay was right there, he was completely willing.
I feel, yeah. Well, they say that they kept going back and forth on whether they should have them together or have Chipotle be the ladies' man. Which reminds me, I gotta remember to write that down for my show tomorrow. We're gonna go on Wikipedia and change the entry for clobbering times. I like to go on there and change. I like to go on there and take out the punctuation and change stuff and put in some outright information just to have some fun.
Yeah, see, that's the problem with Wikipedia. I always laugh when I'm in the Twitter arguments there, and people will bring up a Wikipedia article. I was like, give me something that anybody with a computer can't change.
Well, I say that she's right, because the Star Trek source material for that is not worth the price. It's only just a little bit better, and they've watched the episode anyway. So I get why they would use it. And let's face it, they made a great choice. That's some good comedy. When R.M. Briggs expresses her disdain for how badly it's written, and she's right. I mean, and she's pretty well educated, so I'd have to imagine a little bit of your soul dies when you see some of that stuff. And I think she probably re-edits them, because I've noticed the ones that they've already done have less mistakes. Like grammar, tense, and usage has been fixed.
Very weak. Yeah.
Why did they start calling her Bangway? What does that come from? Is it because she's bangable, or because she's just crazy?
Who?
Because she had the tendency to kill.
Oh,
we always called her Insane Way.
That's what I called her. Yeah, Insane Way. Bangway has been the latest thing. I guess it's you save letters when you put in your super chat and stuff. Like Bangway, in the age of super chats, Bangway is going to beat Insane Way, but Insane Way is what she'll always be to me.
Yeah, I think you could say thank SF Debris for that one.
You know what?
He's been saying that for at least 6 years.
It's a smart way to use it in a world where super chats take up characters. You know what I mean? I understand the use of Bangway, but I would just say and you know what? It's probably pretty valid. I wouldn't know. She's just she's relishing deleting fucking Tuvix.
Yeah, killing Tuvix, genociding every other planet she comes across. I mean, she killed all those people that had that Omega molecule.
Remember the one place where we saw, this was like one of the more interesting episodes too. It was a society far into the future that had been attacked or got into a conflict with the Voyager, and they found parts of it, and they heard from other people about what had happened, like along its trip back from with the Ocampus planet, and they're like, it was called the Ship of Death in myths, and when we see it, it's the same ship, but it's like bristling with weapons.
Yeah, it's like the ISS.
That's a great
Voyager.
The less they're in an episode, the better it is. The one with the dinosaur scientist, where like the Voyager people aren't in it much, it's like one of the better episodes.
Yeah.
And they botched the character creation on Neelix with his look, and the character creation on Kess with her age. Really bad. It's really bad.
Understandable, but they shouldn't have made Neelix a hamster.
I just want to say I think he's a great actor because he's sometimes effective looking that terrible. That's why I'll always say he's a great Star Trek actor. Sometimes he's effective, and later on, when they give him a less clown-like outfit where it's not in your face that he's so ridiculous, he's not too bad.
He does get better, but he always has that hamster look to him. His
look is like, it's so hard to get over that the times that he wins me over as an actor, I'm like, this guy's really good. Imagine if there's an episode of Enterprise where he plays a Ferengi and he's like pretty darn good. He's not as hampered by the look of at least he plays a menacing looking alien.
Well, as menacing as a Ferengi can be.
No, these were a mean bunch of Ferengi. Too bad Bird's not here. In the episode Acquisition, they take over the ship, and the only person not affected is Trip, and it's their version of Die Hard on the NX-01. And he has to go crawling through the Jeffrey tubes in his underwear. That's their variation on him having no shoes. And, whatever. He makes good on the rescue of the rest of the crew. There'd be no show. But, yeah, they get taken over by a crew of Ferengi who have, like, some kind of, like, stun ray that can affect the ship. And so everyone's out for X amount of time. Or maybe they beam something over. I forget how they do it. But they end up on the ship. And, like, one of them is Clint Howard. And they've got like T'Pol and
didn't Darman Shimmerman come back for that Enterprise one?
Yeah, I think they made him up really well though. Like they did everything they could to make him look not like Armin Shimmerman, but I think, or was it the brother? Was it Armin or the brother? I know for sure it's Ethan Phillips. I think it's Armin Shimmerman.
I thought it was Quark. The one that played Quark came back for the Enterprise.
I wouldn't doubt it, but I know for sure one of the Ferengis, and I think it's the leader, is Clint Howard. And these Ferengis were made up to look menacing. They did look menacing. These were like the second most menacing we ever see the Ferengis look. This is the most menacing they looked since the first time we saw them in TNG with the energy whips.
I never found those.
Jeffrey Combs played Krem there. Then you got Clint Howard played Muck. Matt Malloy played Grish. Ethan Phillips played Euless.
Right. No Quark.
Hey, Jim.
So I was wrong.
Hey, Jim. It's understandable. I think like one of the guys kind of looked a little like him. But that's like pretty much an all-star cast. 3 out of 4 of those guys we've heard of out of hand as Star Trek guys, right? Jeffrey Combs, Ethan Phillips, and Clint Howard, of course, is Baylock.
Yeah, Ethan Phillips was the one that played Neelix.
Yes. He's one of the
Howard's been in a lot of Star Trek, too.
What was sad was seeing him in Strange New Worlds. I was so sad.
It's not calling. He's only in one episode.
That was one of the worst ones, man, with the character I hate the most, Dr. Mamangala.
Strange New World just doesn't count.
It's not Star Trek, but my God, was that a horrible episode. We don't have enough room for the wounded. Just beam the people that we had in stasis away into space. Okay. And he's like all happy and jolly when he does it. It's like, is this maybe from a different cutscene and they didn't have the right reaction, but they didn't give a fuck?
That's entirely possible. Reshoots. Take Two takes money.
You know what? Honestly, get the set back. Don't bring back the actor. Film him from behind and hire the actor to just do his voice of him like weeping, and then like a close up of his face crying. Get a crew to him. Just get some blaring light behind him. Anything but what they did, where he's like bleep, and he just like deletes like, was it 50 or 200 people? It was grim, man. It was grim.
Thankfully, I never saw it.
I now have to say I'm thankful I saw it because that kind of started me down the road to where I am. I guess
guys,
Picard really did it. Hey, LDG, welcome back.
Sorry, guys. I had to do an emergency check on Mother, so I couldn't hear anything that's going on. What were we talking about?
We were just kicking around some Star Trek stuff, and we were just talking about how New Trek's not Star Trek.
Yeah, no, New Trek is shit Trek.
It's garbage.
Trek has officially written itself out of canon.
If some creator had their own limited license that didn't have anything to do with these people, I would be interested in seeing if they could make a decent Trek-like show. If they promised they wouldn't cross over or associate with the other shows, but once any show gets successful, I feel like Kurtzman will interfere. So I just don't know.
What we need to do is we need to get together, and we need to threaten, or I'm sorry, didn't I say threaten? I meant Persuade. Sorry, persuade the person who I don't know, Webster. You know, who are the people who create the dictionary, and we should petition them to change the word of canon so we no longer we declaw the people who call New Chuck canon. Because I'm sorry, no.
Well, I wonder what the definition even is right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They changed it, and it used to mean any derivative of a piece of work from the original creator. But now it's like IP holder and shit. So got legalese in there now.
Yeah, canon is the Orville.
All right,
That's
here's the
closest thing
Merriam
we have from Star Trek since 2005.
I pulled it up. I got the Merriam-Webster definition of canon right in front of me. If anyone wants, you can check it out for yourself. I'll put it in the private chat. It's the well, hang on. I'm back on this tab now, so just give me 1 second. But here's the link if anyone wants to check it out or throw it in the regular chat. But here's the Merriam-Webster definition. And I haven't read this, obviously. Canon, with one N. Synonyms of canon: a regulation or dogma decreed by a church council, a provision of canon law. Middle English, from Anglo-French, from late Latin, from Latin model, the most solemn and unvarying part of the Mass, including the consecration of the bread and wine. 3, Middle English, from Latin, Latin Standard, an authoritative list of books accepted as Holy Scripture. B, authentic works of a writer. C, sanctioned or accepted by a group of related group or body of related works, the canon of great literature. An accepted principle of rule. B, criterion, a standard of judgment. 4C, the body of principles, rules, standards, or norms. 5, late Greek canon, a contrapuntal musical composition in which each successively entering voice presents the initial theme, usually transformed in strictly consistent way. Canon, noun, a clergyman belonging to a chapter or the church or staff of a cathedral or collegiate church. Canon with like one of the little I don't know what it's called, the squiggly line over the end. Canon, a deep, narrow valley or something resembling a canyon. And did you know canon and canon are occasionally confused? Synonyms: 1, doctrine, dogma. So doctrine and dogma. So we guess
and the real definition of canon
is 4A, an accepted principle or rule.
A big breathy thing that goes boom. That's the only one that matters.
Yeah, I mean, that's a diluted definition, obviously rewritten through the ages in order to justify all the Karens out there, fanboy Karens out there. But no, I mean, originally the original definition of canon
just read it.
Required.
No one cares what Roddenberry said about Cybok.
Yep. Well, I mean, he wasn't around.
And the IP holders can go shove any paperwork they have right up their ass.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
I didn't
what
write
happens
the definition
when you let copyright go on its own and allow people to change definitions of words and shit. And no, it's if you're not the original creator and then even that's a variable. So yeah, I know people are saying, well, what if it's more than one per blah 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 blah. Obviously, there are variables that need to be taken into account. But when the original creator's long and dead, I think there is no boundary to call that canon. There is no exception to call that canon.
Fiction.
With except
whether it's good.
With the only exception is if the original creator handwrites or some form or fashion endorses the next person. Now that would be the only exception. Like Santa Claus picks who's the next Santa Claus. Like that is canon. But not if fucking Paramount buys Santa Claus and picks Keanu Reeves to be the next one or some crap. No.
More or less. What if the person...
That would be one screwed up Santa Claus.
Yeah, right.
Thanks for putting that in my head, LDG.
Just by the way, I think the only definition on this one from Merriam-Webster, which is the one we cited, and I didn't write this, guys. It's not my idea. Is noun one canon, and it's the one that's for A, B, and C, an accepted principle or rule, a criterion or standard of judgment, a body of principles, rules, standards, or norms. The other ones are archaic or don't really count towards this kind.
The archaic one is that they input. Well, it depends what you're saying. Archaic. I'm saying the original definition
church
should have more weight. What was the one that you said? You said something about an original artist, something that you passed by a couple that were actually somewhat acceptable.
There's 4. 1A is dogma of the church. 1B is provision of church canon law.
Forget the church crap. I'm talking about the.
Well, then the 2 is Middle English. 3 is Middle English. And the Middle English one is 3A is an authoritative list of books accepted as scripture, which is kind of what people are saying when they say canon. Star Wars canon, the scripture of Star Wars, the stuff like George Lucas's Star Wars.
But that would make the EA, the EU canon. Like there was one that you said that had something to do with authentic. Had the word authentic in it.
I don't know if that makes that count. An authoritative list of books, an authentic works. The authentic works of an author is 3B.
Yes.
That's in a private chat for anyone. You can open up in a private chat if your computer is doing it right, and you could just check it out.
That makes it so if somebody else tries to write it, it's not authentic if you're writing after somebody else's established canon.
But here's the thing: it's that wasn't. I don't know if we could say that. We'd have to look at last year's dictionary, and I guess that's where physical media comes in too. That crazy guy in that episode of Star Trek of Court Martial. Who's like books, like maybe he was the only one who knew the real law. It's like that wasn't the real law. Look, I have a book.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to be canon. It doesn't. New Trek doesn't have to be canon to survive as New Trek.
It can't be canon, right?
It doesn't need to be. It's just a caveat like people hold over our heads. Oh yeah, it's canon because we say it is.
I think people would be more willing to accept it as canonical if it was simply good. But
I can't say how many times do I hear people say, I would be okay with Discovery if they just called it not canon. And I'm tired of that. I cannot stand when I hear that because you're basically just proving the original definition. If it's not the original creator, it's not canon. It stands on its own.
People who say that are trying to justify not calling it out, I think.
I think there was a meat shield tactic. Yeah, I don't think that any real person said that. I think they tried to confuse us and say it was canon. That's been their problem for a long time. People don't really believe them.
Was Berger gonna try to say something?
No, I would say that I really wouldn't have a problem with Discovery if they didn't, didn't want to call it part of their current timeline. If it was its own universe, then I don't get me wrong, I still wouldn't watch it, but I could not complain about it as much because fine, if it's some other universe, I don't care, have your own universe over there.
Exactly. Nothing wrong with that.
It's just a more expensive version of someone posting to fanfic.net.
Yeah, but that's fine. I'm not gonna, you want to make your own fiction, fan fiction or whatever, that's fine. If you want Paramount to put it on Paramount Plus, and they're willing to do it, fine, more power to you. I'm not going to watch it, and I suspect most people won't. But that's fine. We can live. I do not want you to live in my universe because you being here cheapens everything that I've set my life to. I mean, this Star Trek for me isn't just a TV series. It's literally, I grew my life, my morals around these shows. The heroes are people I emulate to be, and I think made me the person who I turned out to be, which I thought I turned out to be a pretty decent person for most of my life.
You hang around with me. How can you say that? No, you're right about the
And
morality, though.
you know, I don't like to see somebody come in like Michael fucking Burnham and say, "Oh, I was really the better Vulcan than my actual brother, who is
Well, not
actually
actual
Vulcan."
brother at all. No,
Right,
no,
yeah.
no. She's a
And I
freaking
was the better,
changeling in that house. She was taken in like a stray cat.
the
She had no
better
aunt or uncle who was like, "What the f?" You know,
pilot.
it's
I
like
was the
space travel's
better
not a thing in Star Trek.
scientist. I was the better. You know, I could talk the computer down. I could, you know, I was could deal with the Klingons better. Fuck you, lady.
Well said.
I could make a suit to time travel out of fucking Iron Man's spare parts.
And
And
find 4 of 7 talismans and just forget about the rest.
I just that bothers me. I can't deal with that.
It's some of the worst TV, and they had to put the name Star Trek on it. I think that's why we're all sticking with this fight. It's why I'm never going to give up on it. It just disgusts me that they would put the Star Trek name on this and make such a low quality show. And I think I've made more money than they have at it. And I've
Well,
only made a couple of bucks.
it's why I can deal with JJ movies. I mean, I don't love them. Some
Which one's the least bad?
2009 is
Ooh.
the least bad.
I think
I mean,
Beyond is the least bad.
Hey, DJ Ronnie.
I don't
DJ.
like any of them. I can't. I won't. I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but to me, I guess the least bad one is Into Darkness. I'm not Into Darkness. I'm sorry, Beyond, because at least they act like the normal character selves. Like Spock has no bipolar breakdown at all in that movie. He's a stalker, but he's not bipolar.
I think they're all equally horrible.
You could say that, and no one would really give you much of a fight. We still did, like, solve the problem by playing Beastie Boys music.
Yeah, Beastie Boys are bad enough just going throughout the day. They have no business being in Star Trek.
Fight for Your Right to Party was my prom song. Although
then you're definitely not the same age as Mama.
Yeah, I think I'm right between the two of you. Might split the difference. I might be a little bit like less than half. I don't know how old Mama Pray 5 is. We can't. I mean, we can't talk about that.
That I would say is entirely up to Mama Pray.
Right. That's what I meant by that. It's not. Wouldn't be polite. I'm sure she's really cool though. Come on, she's from Queens.
Absolutely.
Unless people think Queens is small, even though Bird of Prey 5 doesn't live far away from me on the map, that's kind of a trek. Because he's up in the north shore there by the water, where it's really nice.
I still don't think that's too much of a trek. That's just you're way too densely populated.
If I were to have a car and drive, the amount of traffic would make it take an hour, and I guess the public transportation probably maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's backwards.
Cheap and easy though. I can just listen to like YouTube and sit on the bus.
Yeah, definitely way too densely populated in New York.
A lot of work too, though. Like I can get to Manhattan in like 15 to 20 minutes.
Well, you're right there by Manhattan.
Yeah, I'm closer to Midtown than some parts of Manhattan.
Can we do that? Oh, sorry.
Oh, well, you know, 6 o'clock. This
Yeah.
is about the time I was looking to wrap it up. You guys
What's
want
going on tonight, man?
the-
Anything else going on? Gorilla doing a stream or?
I don't know. Anyone want to shout out anything?
Yeah, it's the,
I'll
the underground. That's it.
I'll be
Alright.
back tomorrow after I try to reset my circadian rhythm and come to terms with the events of the last 7 days.
Yeah. Bird, Gorilla, you have anything?
What's today?
Thursday.
Today is Thursday.
Tomorrow, bed life at the usual time, hopefully, 4 p.m. Eastern. Knocking wood.
Sounds good. Gorilla, you got anything?
Tomorrow we're reviewing the Walton's episode, The Awakening. There, come vote in the poll at least. But you can stay in because you never know what the hell's going to come out of my mouth or, in fact, PvP's mouth. But also we for our second week of Christmas, there it's the Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then on Wednesday is Justified. Then I'm gonna be doing some pre-recorded stuff here on the book series, The Keys to the Kingdom. Here, once I can find some time.
Sounds good. As for this channel, you still have one more day to vote in the poll. Please go vote out Muppets. I do not want to show Disney, but I will if it actually wins. And after
All right,
that,
I'll
should
use
have
my 326 account.
What is your preferred outcome?
326 account. Anything that isn't owned by the mouse.
Tell me our choices one more time. I don't think I voted yet.
Well, Teague, we can rig it here.
Let's make this like a real election. I say that we submit a new slate of results.
Okay, our vote. Bah Humduck, All Dogs Christmas Carol, and A Flintstones Christmas Carol are the three main choices.
I think I went with Flintstones.
We also have the other, which is quite frankly running away with it with 60% of the vote.
Oh, wow.
55 now.
Let me see this poll. Hold off, maybe we can save it.
Oh. The comments have Mickey's Christmas Carol, Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, and Muppet's Christmas Carol.
I like Mr.
You can
Magoo the best.
vote for Mr. Magoo if you want. Any thumbs up for any suggestion in the comments counts as a vote for that suggestion.
I'm going to the community tab right now. So just putting it in the comments. All right. So Mr. Magoo. That's my favorite. That's where I learned the story from.
You're at 27% for Flintstones Christmas Carol. But I won't be there tomorrow on Saturday because I'll be at my sister's.
Okay. That won't be a problem. But as I said, still have a day to vote. Vote early, vote often, just don't vote Disney.
Write in Mr. Magoo. I want a strong write-in challenge for Mr. Magoo. Mr. Magoo
Yeah.
only needs to get to 6 to like really win this poll because at half of 11, you know what I mean? Let's face it, Mr. Magoo really did win this election.
Yeah, we'll Biden up this election as much as we can.
That's right. That's right.
But
Right.
we'll be using it for good instead of what Mr. President Magoo did.
That's right. We only want to bring you a better version of Christmas Carol. I learned the legend from that version as a little kid.
Yeah. But thanks for stopping by, everyone. We'll have another open panel next week at the same time. Take care.
All right, see ya.
Thank you.
Bye.